Okay, let's get started. We're on agenda item number 18, Commission Regulation 11-03, Amendment number 1, Big Game Seasons. Wildlife Staff Specialist Mike Cox and Tony Wasley. The Commission may adopt amendments to recommended changes to big game season dates and bighorn sheep indoctrination provisions. Guys, go ahead.
Mike Cox, Big Game Staff Biologist, Department of Wildlife. We'll just go ahead and start at the top of the season. No. We'll start at the top. I guess we did ask for the advisory boards to provide us their minutes or their action report on, specifically on big game seasons. So I do think we have something summarized. We just finished it this morning, but certainly we're going to want, or you'll probably want the game boards to let you know specifically what and why they did on their recommendations. So I guess we'll start with then resident antelope, horns longer than ears, the any legal weapon hunt or rifle hunt as we know it, the 2151. We have from the agency standpoint only one amendment to last year's approved seasons, and that was an opportunity for us to take advantage of bighorn herds that have been slowly building in Esmeralda County in units 211 and 212. So they're pretty scattered, but they're definitely an adequate number of pronghorn to allow for a few rifle tags and a few archery tags. So we added that season, and that was the only other amending unit or change of season.
How do you want to do this? You want to, are we going to do this one by one, or?
Is your mic, Chairman, is your mic on?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Are you going to go through all of them? Is that the game plan, or do you want to?
We normally try to focus on a hunt unless there was very little appetite for change. Then we could maybe do a whole species, but we typically just go hunt by hunt, weapon by weapon. But if we see that there's,
and so we take a vote on each hunt, immediately. And but are we going to have to get cap comment? Yeah, I would say everybody's going to want to comment.
That's up to you. Yeah, that's up to you.
How have we done this in the past? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My experience has been exactly what Mike's describing. Is we just go hunt by hunt, and if there's any comments, you go out to public comment and ask public comment for on that particular hunt, and then we typically you'll get a motion on it, and we put that one to bed and move on to the next one.
Okay, and so just for clarification on antelope, are we doing resident, non-resident, or are we going to do just resident first and then do non-resident?
With the seasons, because the non-residents mirror the same seasons as residents, although we may not have every unit group with a companion season, it's immediately following the resident. So right after you take action on this 2151 hunt, the next hunt is its companion non-resident 2251 hunt.
Okay, but you want to still do them separately then?
Yeah.
Best way. Okay, then I guess I'll just bring this, the first resident antelope hunt back to the commission. Anybody have any questions on the changes or anything else with regard to the resident antelope hunt? 2151. Okay, seeing none, go ahead and take it out to the cabs. Any cabs have any comment on on antelope, resident antelope hunt 2151. Okay, come on up, Rex.
Rex Flower for the record, represent Washington County. I'm going to make it very easy. We agreed with, Washoe County was in agreement with the department on all hunts except for some deer hunts, so we will not give any further recommendations.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Come on up, Dr. Dixon.
Sorry, some of us worked through their lunch rather than, I'm teasing. I know in Clark County, we had one recommendation that I sent off to Tony and Mike, and that is we agreed with all of, for the record, Paul Dixon, sorry.
Okay, now, just let me give you some background. You walked in late. We're only doing hunt 2151 antelope, so...
Oh, 2151 antelope.
We're going to go hunt by hunt.
Hunt by hunt.
Hunt by hunt. So if you have a comment, I know what your comment's going to be, and I know it's not on antelope, so if you don't have an antelope content, you know...
Are you sure you don't have any comments?
Just sit down. Okay.
Thank you, I was late. I apologize to the
No
board.
problem. Okay, any other comments on Hunt 2151 resident antelope? Okay, bring it back to the commission. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve Hunt 2151, resident antelope, horns longer than ears, any legal weapon as proposed by the department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, passes unanimously.
Antelope, antelope, weapon, Hunt 2251. We only made one amendment from last year. Again, another opportunity. We had a resident run 04346. That population is large enough where we're approaching the 10 tag resident minimum. So now we feel we can open up that for non-resident. And that's it.
I'll bring it back to the commission. Any questions, comments on the non-resident antelope hunt? Okay, seeing none, take it out to the public. Any public comment on the non-resident antelope hunt? It's number 2251. Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any comments or go ahead?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve Hunt 2251, non-resident antelope, horns longer than ears, any legal weapon as recommended by the department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? None? Okay, approved.
Next item is the antelope, 111 years, muzzleloader hunt, 2171. Last year we had recommended expanding some of those muzzleloader hunts in Washoe County, and we went ahead and added those again for your consideration.
Okay. Go ahead and bring it back to the commission. Any comments on Hunt 2171, resident antelope muzzleloader? Looks like they are adding a number of units to the... we started this muzzleloader hunt on antelope a few years ago, I guess, and so it's now expanding, and I think we're getting a lot of people that are interested in it. So, any comments? Commissioner Rain.
Well, question, what is the justification for these? Has there been any changes? I mean, last time we hashed this over, we didn't have any real biological justification, didn't have any particular number of requests for this. Has anything changed as far as that?
It's all about having opportunity with a different weapon class. So, as I'll probably say, and probably Tony will say again later today, there's no sword for us to fall on. It's just we're just trying to provide opportunity. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Any other? Commissioner Drew.
Mike, I was trying to catch you before you sat down. Just a couple of questions for you. One would be, what's been your response for the muzzle areas that are open so far? I mean, have you had a pretty good demand? And then two is just with the timing, why there's such a break between the end of any legal weapon and the start of the muzzle? Just some of your thoughts on those two.
There hasn't been a huge demand. I would say in terms of how many applicants per tag, it's around four applicants per every one tag sold. And the season dates, we're using that latter part of September to try to not disrupt the main rut period of the pronghorn. Also, our biologists, we typically have a lot of surveys going on immediately after the rifle season. And it's actually the most common season dates in the West, outside of us in Oregon, where most states have their pronghorn buck rifle hunts end of September through mid-October. And it was during the same time as deer muzzleloader seasons, but we did want that break to try to allow us to get in the field to do some surveys and try to not disrupt the rut as much.
Okay, any other commission comments? Okay, I'll take it out to the public. Any public comment on muzzleloader hunt, resident muzzleloader hunt 2171? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring it back to the commission. Any motions or any further discussion? Commissioner Rain.
You know, I just still don't see any real reason. And you know, if there was a huge demand for more muzzleloader tags, I know we went through that when we were doing the big game draw report, you know, and I was trying to bring that up again. But, you know, I didn't see a huge influx in people wanting more muzzleloader tags, and the odds are very good in muzzleloader as it is. I don't know why I can't see any real reason to add those additional areas in there. I just, you know, we had hashed that over a year ago, and I still haven't seen any reason there. Before we do it, I'd like to see some reason.
Okay, I can see one just looking at the hunt units that are being added. It seems to me that everything from 111 down, the 111 to 114 down, is on the south and eastern side of the state. The 078 units, I think that is the areas around Elko, and all of these other units that are being proposed are now the ones that are closer to Reno. So basically, when you look at this, in my mind, it's providing a reasonable opportunity for muzzleloader hunters in the Reno and the Washoe Reno area. That's what I see. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Need a motion. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're my man.
I'd make a motion that we approve hunt 2171, resident antelope, horns longer than ears, muzzleloader, as approved by the department. As recommended, excuse me.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes 7-1. Go ahead.
Hunt as we had added the rifle hunt for Area 21, units 211 and 212, we're going to add an archery hunt there, and that was the only amendment.
Okay, bring it back to commission. Any questions on that? It looks like it's going to be the same as the rifle hunt. Okay, seeing none, take it out to the public. Any questions on hunt 2161, resident antelope archery? Okay. Oh, yep. Come on up.
Sorry about that. Ken Wellington, Elko County. The county board supported this, but my question comes personally, and I guess that would be, we added those areas, and I probably should have spoke before, but the 111 stuff's in here. I'm hoping tags quotas won't come out of this, because I don't have a dog in this fight, but I mean, if it's sportsman opportunity, then there should be additional tags, I'm assuming, for the other areas, for the muzzleloader hunt from those areas. Does that make sense?
We use, as we have for all species, the demand success process, and that's why we haven't had a huge muzzleloader quota in the existing units that have a muzzleloader tag or season. It's all based on demand success. So we'll probably start off with probably similar demand values from the White Pine County unit groups that we have a feel for, and then walk into the real demand next year from whatever applicants we get this year.
Okay. Any other public comment? Can I bring it back to the commission? Go ahead, Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve resident antelope, horns longer than ears, longbow archery hunt 2161 as presented by the department.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Everybody understand the motion? Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
I should have pointed this out sooner. We better recover that you're going to pass the unit boundary changes. So in the unit descriptions, it does reflect the unit boundary changes. Next, the non-resident antelope archery horns longer than ears, 2261. We have several unit groups we're opening up to non-resident archery. Again, we are now approaching the 10 tags for the resident archery quota, and now can open up at least one tag for the non-residents in those four different unit groups.
Okay, bring back to the commission. Any questions on Hunt 2261, non-resident archery? Okay, seeing none, I'll take it out to the out to the public. Any comments on this hunt from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Wallace.
Move to approve non-resident antelope, horns longer than ears, longbow archery hunt number 2261 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
All right, that's antelope. Next, elk.
Whoa. 2181.
My fault.
All right, you're going to get away with it like you usually do, right?
All right, the horn shorter than ears, antelope, any level up in Hunt 2181. Same as recommended last year. We didn't have any amendments to that.
Okay, bring back to commission. Any comments on the resident 2181 horns shorter than ears hunt? Go ahead.
The Baker Ranch property hunt within the 1 mile, how's that boundary working? Is that still working all right, that 1 mile boundary, or?
I haven't heard of any complaints.
I know there was questions before about it, but, we left it the same and just it's been all right. Been decent success?
I think it's somewhat similar to the other doe hunts.
Just checking, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Okay, I'll take it back out to the public. Any questions on the antelope doe hunt 2181? Come on up.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark Cab. I had a question for Vice Chair Rob. Jim Jenny had talked with you about group or party hunts in antelope and elk. Did you touch on that at all while I wasn't in the room? Because we're almost through and I just realized, was he talking about the horn shorter than for that, or was he talking about the normal antelope thing, party piece for that? And he said you might be bringing it up, so I'm putting you on the spot, but asking the question.
And I had a conversation with somebody, I remember talking about the elk, and if I missed the antelope, I missed the antelope. I didn't remember antelope talking to Jim about that, but I do know that we talked about the elk.
Yeah, well, he just mentioned in a text to me that it was antelope and elk, so he wanted me to ask you, that's
Okay.
all. Okay.
But I don't know if that would have any bearing on the season sit. I know what you're asking, but I don't think it would have any bearing on what we're doing right now.
Okay, I didn't know whether word had to come in, that's why I was asking you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, no further public comment. I'll bring it back to the commission. Any motion?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve resident antelope horn shorter than ears and illegal weapon hunt 2181 as recommended by the department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes.
We ready for elk now?
Yeah, we're
All
ready
right,
to go.
thanks. Sorry. I'll start with the resident elk antlered any illegal weapon depredation hunt 4102. We've had, just like last year, we had minimum late season for the relays and East Humboldts. We're adding unit 145, which is primarily the Fish Creek Range in Eureka County. We actually started seeing elk in that area, and per the Central Nevada Elk Plan, we agreed to preclude elk management in that unit. That was the agreed upon management action for that unit. So we're going to try to put some pressure on those elk. And you can see it's a single long season.
Okay. Bring back to commission. Anybody have any questions on Hunt 4102? Commissioner Rain.
Thank you. Just two things. One is if you could expound more upon what was found. Perhaps there must have been surveys. And I do know that, that there have been some observed in those areas. I've been, talking to, but it seems like a lot of them are right on the border of 144 and 145. And is there any reason why that unit would be not, or that new unit group would not be a larger unit group to incorporate the few stragglers? Because, most of them seem to be spotted on the highway. I guess that's where people seeing them. And the highway is dividing line between 140 and 145. I believe they're both in the same portion of the Central Nevada Elk Plan. They're in one, they're in the other. But the numbers, I think, are pitiful, or some number there. That would be one. And then the other one, is there any particular reason why the Area 10 unit seasons aren't through the end of the year? I know we're trying to eliminate them out of it. Why isn't, is there any particular reason why it doesn't go through the end of December? Or throwing that out there as options to the department, because I know they're trying to get rid of them, or drastically reduce them, excuse me.
I know the counties we run through in 101 through 103, we run them through the January 1, but I can't tell you why we don't have, like the second season running through the end of the year. But we do like to try to split up the seasons, try to get a new, fresh group of hunters in there.
And the question 145 and 144 and the elk?
Maybe our regional supervisor can help, but we know we have a few elk in 145, and we're going to try to, hit those pretty hard. Certainly, there's elk scattered in a lot of different unit groups throughout the state. And I guess Unit 144, maybe Larry can answer this. I believe we do have plans in the Central Nevada Elk Plan for, I don't even know if that covers 144. So I don't know what the management plan is for 144. And if it does allow for hunting, my guess is we just haven't seen enough to warrant an established season yet. We'd like to probably see more consistent observations of elk.
What were the
in there.
numbers you saw in 145? Did you get an idea of that?
I don't have that in front of me today. I just know that there's elk in there, whether it's 2 or 20, and we agreed not to have elk in there or any sizable herd. So it's a boundary well hunt. It's a depredation hunt.
Here comes Ken.
Yeah, for the record, Ken Gray, Eastern Region Supervising Biologist. We've been putting cameras on water sources in that area. Mike's been observing for maybe the last 3 years, just a slightly increasing elk herd. Is it high density? No. We estimate that maybe 20 to 30 elk reside in the area. We're just trying to get ahead of the program. We have an elk plan in the Central Nevada elk plan that says that we will manage that as an elk restricted zone, and we're just trying to live up to that plan and want to get on top of it before the elk get to a point where we can't do anything.
Okay, any, where were we? You have any more discussion from the commission? Okay, take it out to public. Any questions from the public on Hunt 4102? Okay, I'll bring it back. I have a question, and this is really personal to me. I harvested my elk last year, my bull elk, and if I put in for cow elk, am I still able to put in for this hunt as well?
Even if it's a bull hunt depredation hunt, it's still a bull hunt. So you still have to choose
I see.
one gender or the other when you apply.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
There's certainly some differences of opinions out there in our publics and even in probably our agency of allowing for both to be applied for, but right now, one or the other.
Okay, thanks. Okay, bring it back to the commission. Any other questions for motion, I guess? Commissioner Wallace.
Move to approve resident elk antlered any legal weapon depredation hunt 4102 as recommended by the department.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Next, our most popular bull hunt, the resident elk, antlered any legal weapon 4151. Last year, we came to you with a concern that we have in managing the unit groups along the Idaho border, and we're having to be creative in getting hunters out in a timely fashion with regards to potential weather effects, being cognizant of the other weapon hunts and species hunts, and trying to get as many hunters in there without fumbling over each other, spreading them out from August through November. And we had a recommendation to take the bull muzzleloader season and pull it out of its semi-normal October period in order to make room for 2 consecutive rifle hunts, an early and a late, so they can be out of those units by Thanksgiving. Where in the middle of the year, which this last year was very abnormal for lack of snow, we really have a difficult time getting hunters in there after Thanksgiving. So we had recommended a latter part of October through early November, early in the rifle season, and a late season, and then we also took a look at one of the concerns that people had of seasons being continuous all the way through from August to January. The perception was, we believe it's a perception that, that we're putting a lot of pressure on these elk and it's impacting the herds. And, we do have to impact these herds. We have to harvest these herds, and we have to maintain them under certain population objectives. So you can see there's a slight change in the ending date on those first few hunts to the 5th We looked at some of these 1 or 2 day splits in between the seasons, and, unless you're going to get more than that, we just didn't think there was a benefit of having even just 1 day split. You don't have all the hunters out there the last day, and we just said, let's give these guys as many different days out there as possible in hopes that they can harvest more elk for us and for themselves. So when I was discussing that muzzleloader season change and then having those early seasons, you can see the 072, 074 early season. We're recommending that September season to be closed in order to allow for the next hunt, the muzzleloader hunt, 4156, 4256, to take that place for that unit group and for 6171. And we didn't want to have two different weapon classes out there trying to kill the same critter. We also, there's always been an interest in rotating red hunts, if you will. And we felt that this would provide an opportunity for the muzzleloader hunters to accommodate that season for a couple years. That slot, that red hunt slot. So we closed that 07274 early season, and as you can see, there's a muzzleloader season that will take that place. We also had some inconsistencies statewide. Talking about weapons, there was a little bit of confusion. Some of the rifle seasons started on a day or two earlier than one another. And so if there was a early November through mid-November season, like this November 6th through 20th, we tried to clean that up so it wasn't November 4 in one unit group and November 6 in the other unit group, so we try to make them all November 6th through the 20th. And again, with that theme of utilizing some of those gaps in between the past elk seasons and trying to just provide a few more days for hunters to be in the field, we eliminated the gap between the end of the bull archery and the beginning of the bull rut hunts where there was a rut hunt, so that we're recommending to start the few rifle rut hunts September 17th, and then allow them to hunt through the end of September, right before the cow rifle starts, and just I let them hunt. We know it was going to be 100% success, but we just thought we'd expand it out. And I think that's it.
Okay, I'll bring back the commission and comments. Go ahead.
I just had one, and I don't know if it's just a question or just kind of where I sit on it, but in terms of our normal rotation on setting seasons biannually, I don't have any concern with kind of matching up some of the dates and the cleanup that we've done, but I do have a little bit with eliminating 072 at 074 early, only because it's outside of kind of our normal cycle every other year. I see we've got some other muzzleloader early hunts proposed. I'd like to see how those go this year before we take an early rifle hunt like that off the table. That's pretty popular. So just kind of some general thoughts, but I'm interested to see what Elko Cab and some of the others have to say.
I had the gentleman that was the houndsman with the hat. Well, actually, they both had hats, so I guess one from Idaho, the outfitter from Idaho, come up and give me a comment on this particular hunt. And he says that he has he purchases 4 elk incentive tags in that area for that hunt. And he's got some old guys that apparently need the ability to hunt in the rut to be able to harvest their elk. And so, anyway, he was wanting to. He wanted me to communicate that he wanted to see the 072, 074 early rut hunt stay. And So I'm just going to pass the message. I'm not going to make any other comments and let the cabs talk about that. Obviously, 4 incentive elk tags impacting that rut hunt. I didn't even know it. So anyway.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing. I talked about the muzzleloader season, and as you know, there's a lot of domino theory effects here, but maybe even a bigger reason why we were hoping to get a lot of these adjustments made last year was the cow seasons. We've tried to make sure that the cow seasons are key, and we've expanded two different cow seasons in October, and some of those have affected some of these other seasons, and so they're all kind of connected, and trying to find an opportunity, a time frame to not have cow hunters out there with bull hunters, which has been a tradition here in Nevada. There's certainly other states that there's hunting going on, and it doesn't matter what gender there is, but if we want to continue to have that mantra of separating out the gender hunts, we actually start with cow hunting, just because it's our most difficult and responsible part of elk management, and then we try to find those best opportunity times for bull hunters. So part of that is playing into this too, the cow hunts.
Commissioner Rain?
Perhaps following basically on the same thing as having our muzzleloader dates for antlered directly mirror the muzzleloader dates for the antlerless in all those units, the 061 through 075, all those top units. That seems
Contradictory, right?
contradictory, awkward.
Well, and the reason we did that was just out of necessity. We don't want to do it, as I just said, but really are trying to find a window for all these different weapon class hunts. And in this case, we don't have a tremendous amount of cow muzzleloader tags, big country, and we really feel that, and the bull quota, those will never be all that large. So we felt we could maybe try to get away with an exception to that unwritten rule of having the bull muzzleloader out at the same time as the cow, knowing that there's no large quotas for either hunt.
So following up on that, what was the problem with the way it was previous years when it was the 8th of October through the 21st of October, as opposed to in September?
Well, we have a lot of cow rifle tags, and that's October. And in fact, we had some complaints last year with the army of cow rifle hunters out there as the same time as the bull muzzleloader hunters that have been waiting a long time for that tag to compete out there with a large number of cow rifle hunters with a different weapon. So we felt that if you're going to have that situation, you might as well pair similar weapon classes hunters out there at the same time versus having rifle hunters out there with a much larger quota of cow rifle than bull or than cow muzzleloader.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Okay, I'll take it out to the public. Any, come up, Ken.
Thank you. For the record, Ken Wellington, Elko County. Our board voted to support the department's recommendations on this with one exception. That was me. I voted against it. The board, since I've been on it, is had the season set every 2 years. And any changes within that 2-year period, to me, needed to be for a biological reason, not a convenience reason. And what happened was I got a call from the same gentleman you did. He is a guide at the Cottonwood Ranch, and he had concerns because he had some elderly gentlemen who had committed to some of the incentive tags that might be offered out, and they were going to come hunt that hunt. And we're talking about the 072-074 early. Well, I asked our department personnel that was there, Carrie Hubner was there, and I asked her, was there a biological reason for closing that hunt? And there was not, is what she told me. So, taking that, I'm totally against, and this is my personal feelings, I'm totally against taking away hunter opportunity by closing an early hunt on there, when if you look down at the 108, which actually last year would have been the 131, 132, early and late hunts, they are the exact same dates, minus a day they pushed just for cleanup on there. But I didn't understand why muzzle loaders all of a sudden were going to have an advantage over any legal weapon, when if they have a muzzle loader and they want to hunt that season, they're more than welcome to use the muzzle loader during the any legal weapon time. But I was a little concerned about that. I'm not a muzzle loader hunter, but I did also receive 2 emails, well, one attempted email from an elderly gentleman, I think he was one of Mr. Jackson's, that told me that he was committed to this. He spends money when he comes. He was going to be out about $10,000. He thought he would be paying one of the ranches up there for that tag. And so when it came to this, I have some major concerns personally. My board supported it. I was the one that voted against the plan just because I couldn't see taking away hunter opportunity on that 07274 rifle hunt. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Come on up.
For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County. I have 2 separate issues to address today. The first one Mr. Wellington touched on is the 108, 131, 132, that early hunt in that area. White Pine County actually wants that hunt eliminated. We were told when that was put in there it was going to be on a rotating basis, and it's never been rotated out, and we don't want that hunt. We don't feel there's any reason to have a rifle, any legal weapon hunt that time of year. The second issue, and I'm going to be addressing the commission 4 more times during this, but areas 111 through 115, 221 through 222, White Pine County has also requested that we separate those units. We would like to see 111 through 115 its own unit, and 221 and 222 its own unit. I don't know that there's any reason that there should be such a large unit in for that elk. There, you know, our local biologist says there's a migration back and forth. We feel that's a small, minute, if at all. And the other thing is, right now, Fish and Game's managing the cows unit by unit, not area by area. So if we're going to manage the cows unit by unit, I think we can manage at least the bull hunts area by area. So when these other hunts come up, I'll be addressing the other elk hunts that pertains to, but those are my comments. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any additional commission comment? Okay, seeing that I have one. Last year, and this is with regard to the 111 to 115, 221 to 222. I asked that you guys do whatever you needed to do to get up to speed on the issues there with regard to splitting those units, and because at the last meeting we didn't really know, but and I don't even know if we had the White Pine County here to or if they mentioned this issue, but this has been a kind of an ongoing thing, and I think that what I heard is that that Kurt Boffman, the biologist there, was kind of against it, but I'm kind of sensing that the sportsmen want to get these 2 units split up. That is a massive area to hunt, and I already think that most people, you either hunt the south or they hunt the north. They either hunt the North Shell Creek or they hunt down in South Cave Valley and on down. So anyway, could we address that?
Mike Cox, Endow. Yes, it's been certainly a debatable topic for over a decade or more. And just give you our perspective, but I certainly can appreciate the sportsmen It is a huge area. Maybe we need to spend a little bit more money, which seems like we're always tight on, in better documenting that movement, putting some collars out, but we're pretty confident that there is movement. How much movement? In terms of bull movement, cow movement. I mean, shoot, we have a lot of movement between other units, but we recognize that movement, and the ability to survey that entire area and to try to decide animals a mile or two on either side of that unit boundary, what to do with them. And it's certainly been a simpler process for us in terms of modeling, survey, to treat it as an entire population. But I can see that as a hunter that it's huge enough, seems to be pretty demarcated by the highway there, that it should be separated out. Probably one of the biggest reasons why we have specific unit-to-unit cow quotas, and it was based on the White Pine Elk Management Plan, because there are resources that are fairly unique and separate in terms of livestock use and water availability, that the plan, I think accordingly, said, we're concerned about each of these units as a standalone landscape that needs to be managed. And so there's actually population objectives for varying combinations of different units from 111 all the way to 222. Cows, baby makers, we really need to put focused quotas and efforts on those specific units that are part of these different population objectives. Could we? Yeah, we could split up the bull quotas also. And I know, talking with Kurt and Ken, I think what I see is, and this dates back to when I first started collecting some teeth from harvested bulls, is we had a difference of opinion, not necessarily where to kill bulls, but how many bulls and how many big bulls were left after the season. And I think that's what I perceive as being the driving force here, is overall people are concerned about the total number of bull quotas. I just took a look at the 2010, I don't have the 2011 data summarized by unit, I just have it by hunt. And if you were to look at the Area 11, 111 through 115, and Area 22, 221 through 222, of all the cows that we killed 56% of the cows in Area 11 and 44% of them in Area 22. But again, that's unit-specific quotas. We've got a separate 221 hunt, separate 222 hunt. In terms of bull harvest percent across the two areas, we had 58% of the bulls harvested in Area 11, and 42% of the bulls harvested in Area 22. In addition to that, Kurt Baughman looked at the main beam length that we get from hunters, and it was close, by somewhere between 27% or so of all bulls harvested in Area 11 were 50 inches or longer, and just a couple percentage points lower at 25% of the total bulls in Area 22 are 50 inches or longer. So we don't see a huge disparity in the harvest between the two units, and I think if we were to see a 10% gap or difference, we might be interested in looking at splitting those out, but it does look like the hunting pressure is kind of regulating itself. Another issue that we don't necessarily have a lot of control over is the guides. Their permits are regulated by public land management agencies, and some agencies and some districts regulate the number of permits, guide permits that will be issued, and others don't. And I think that's part of the White Pine reason is that issue. Certainly looks like it could be helped a bit if it was split, but there is an opportunity to split it, but we just don't see a reason to do it. It can be. Another point is, if you draw that tag, you've got a lot of places, a lot of options, and I think, as you said, Chairman, that people pretty much know. Okay, I'm gonna put in for 11 and 22, but I know where I'm going, and I'm not gonna hunt everywhere. So.
I guess one question would be is if you did split it, would you pull the new 223 unit into all the other 22 units and consolidate all the 22 units, or is there some reason why that wouldn't be a good idea?
Well, we don't know for sure where those bulls originated and cows that have now established a herd in 223. It is obviously the furthest south unit in Area 22. We think it has a little bit more tie to Area 23. That's why it's been connected starting last year with Area 23. But it could go either way, probably.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I guess I'm looking for a motion. Or we've been out to the public on this, right? Yes. Okay. Looking for a motion. If anybody has any real desire to do anything with the 111, 22 units, Commissioner Drew.
I'll give this a try.
Oh, sorry.
I'd make a motion to approve resident elk antlered any legal weapon hunt 4151 as recommended by the department, with the exception of 072, 074 early, which would be September 17th through September 30th.
Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve with a single change on the 072, 074 early hunt. Now, do we need to eliminate, we're going to have two, aren't we going to have two early hunts if you go with that motion like that?
Yeah, just to clarify my motion, the way it's listed on our handout, it shows last season's early hunt is closed, and this season with the proposed new dates of October 22nd through November 5th. So my proposed motion would be to substitute the October 22nd to November 5th dates with September 17th through September 30th. So there would be one early season that would run September 17th to September 30th. And then we'd have to address the muzzleloader off the
So if you do that, maybe just call them early, mid, late. We could make that name change, early, mid, late.
Okay, so we're going to have all three then, is what I'm hearing.
that's not what I'm...
Just an early and a late only. Is that what he said?
Oh, okay.
So last year you did do an early, mid, late, correct? Yeah, I'll let my motion stand as it is now and see where it goes.
So you guys understand it? Maybe repeat it again.
Clarify that, Commissioner Drew, again.
Okay, so The mid-season would be completely eliminated with my proposed motion. The early season would run September 17th through September 30th. The late season would run November 6th through November 20th for 072-074. So you'd have 2 any legal weapon hunts.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on that, and we have a question or a comment from Commissioner Robb.
As the motion is stated, I'm going to not support the motion due to the 108 through 132 hunt. I've had quite a bit of comment on that, and people do want that gone. So I wouldn't support the motion on that, and I would support also splitting 111 through 115, split that with 221, 222, split those up as recommended by White Pine. So with those two thoughts, I'm not going to support the motion.
And I'd be open for an amendment on that if
Okay. I would like to amend the motion to include 072, 074 early with the, what were your dates, Jeremy? September 17th through September 30th.
correct?
And then to, what's that? A mid-to-mid hunt.
Strike it?
Strike it. Not have the early hunt in 108 through 132. That one would be gone. And to at least try splitting those units, knowing that if we try it and it breaks it, we can always go back to having one great big unit.
And that would be to split the units, just for clarification. So 111 through 115 would be one unit?
Yes.
221, 222, and 223 would be another unit?
Nope. No,
Nope.
223 is still where it's at.
Okay.
Just to split the 111 through 115, split that against 221 and 222.
And therefore create a separate early and late season for each of those with
Correct.
mirroring dates.
Correct.
Okay. Just trying to throw that
If
clarification.
you want me to restate my motion so it's a little clearer.
I'll second the amendment. I think.
Okay, I have a motion to amend and a second on the motion to amend, so we'll go ahead and, well, any further discussion on the amendment? Okay. Do I need to take this? No, I don't. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Just wanted a clarification from Commissioner Drew. Is the reason we wanted to eliminate that October 22nd start bull season, that because you're thinking you're going to make the muzzleloader season then, or?
Right. That'd open up the dates for a muzzleloader.
Right. I just would throw out an option, knowing that if we continue to have that 07274 September 17 season, probably going to be a small quota. We have a very high bull ratio and a population of elk in there, and we certainly could sustain a lot of harvest. And it's a big area. And I know, again, it kind of goes against this unwritten rule of different weapon classes out there at the same time, but we feel we could actually accommodate our proposed muzzleloader season then, and even reinstating that rifle hunt in September, end of September, and still allow for the 2 later rifle seasons in October and November. And so we've got lots of bulls in there and a lot of country, so we would ask, we could accept that early rifle season, September 17th, but we'd ask that that our muzzleloader season that's coming up, that we think it could fit there too, and there wouldn't be conflicts with the 2 different weapon classes, and allow for those 2 late seasons to continue to kill bulls that we've got plenty of. So I just want to throw that as a consideration.
I guess my only comment to that would be the enforcement side of things would maybe be a concern.
Okay, I have an amendment to the motion that's on the floor right now. Any other comments, questions? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and call for a vote on the amendment to the motion. And so the amendment is adding, it basically kept the 072 suggestion from the motion, from the original motion, but is eliminating 108, 131, 132 early completely, and then splitting the 111 to 115 and the 221 and 222 units. Okay, so with that, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the amendment passes. Now, so we'll go ahead and vote on the main amendment, on the main motion, which has now been amended. And go ahead, we have a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hate to belabor it, but Mike, we're talking about maintaining that 072, 074 early, any legal weapon, October 22nd through November 5th. Trying to manage through hunting here. It sounds like you've got some objectives you'd like to satisfy. Does that put that in jeopardy?
Well, we'd probably just have to, squeeze the tags into the other seasons, trying to maintain a fairly quality hunt. That's why we've got all these different seasons to spread the wealth. And we'd have to probably put a lot of tags into that late October or that November 6th through the 20th season, because that'll be really the only main rifle hunt that we'll have then.
So I guess where I'm headed is that the potential, we could be creating a little bit of an enforcement issue at the same time, or congestion out there anyway.
Yeah, that's why we've tried to do the structure we did, is we know there's going to be a lot of tags, and just trying to a little bit less tags. And if we don't have that extra rifle season, and we know you're not going to see a huge quota from us, and I doubt it would be approved anyway in that September 17th hunt, but we could put a lot of people in there, I guess. I don't. My sense is that's not the flavor of it. But yeah, so you did correctly assume it is a concern of ours of harvesting the cows and the bulls adequately enough without that season.
Mr. Chairman, with that in mind, for purposes of basic discussion, I'd like to propose an amendment to the original motion, an additional one, which is to maintain that 072, 074 currently labeled as an early hunt, but to identify it as a mid hunt and maintain the October 22nd through November 5th hunt.
I'll second that. Okay, so I've got a motion to amend, another motion to amend now on the floor. And so I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, amendment passes. Okay, so now the current motion that is on the floor is the same as before, but adding the mid-hunt, which is the 072, 074 mid for October 22nd to November 5th. So does everybody understand the motion with the eliminating the 108, 131, 132, and then splitting the 11 and area 11 and area 22 hunt? Everybody okay with that? Everybody understand the motion? Okay, we're voting on the main motion now. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes.
So obviously, a few of those changes will transcend over the non-resident and the weapon for the 250 land grant. We do not
I think I have a typo on the 073. Can't go here, or Larry. The 073 standing alone, and then it's got, something's wrong there. That should be 075. So if you could correct that, where it's just 073, along without an arrow on late, that should be corrected to 075. So I think the only thing would be the 11-22 split would need to be conducted.
Okay, bring back to commission. Any questions, discussion on the 4251 non-resident antlered elk, illegal weapon? Okay, seeing none, take it out to public. Any public comment on the non-resident elk hunt? Come on up.
This is just a question. Do I need to address each one of these elk hunts, or because Mr. Cox has addressed to split this, that's going to be fine? Because I guess I should clarify. For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County, and we do support the split of 111 through 115 from 221 and 222 in this hunt.
It's always good to be clear. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, bring it back to the commission for motion. Commissioner McNinch.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve non-resident elk antlered and illegal weapon hunt 4251 as proposed, with the exception of splitting out area 11 units 111 through 115 and 221 through 222 early and late. And with the noted change that 073, that it stood by itself, is in fact 075, recognizing that was a typo.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any comment on the motion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. You guys need some time to figure something out?
There was just a question about whether we needed a companion 075 early late. But last year we had 7 tags in the resident early late 075. Not quite enough to split to have a single tag in each early late, so that's why we just have a single 075 non-resident. Next to that, resident hunt 4156. We're amending and recommending that those northern tier units in western Elko County be switched to that September 17th, 30th season to coincide with the cow muzzleloader seasons, in order to make way for those 2 rifle seasons that would start immediately after the cow rifle of October, end of October. So those are, as you can see, just a slight cleanup. As I mentioned earlier, we have some different opening dates of some muzzleloader seasons and closing. And so we're asking that we just shift a couple days later, and then there's actually 3 days on the back end of those, rest of those muzzleloader hunts.
Okay, I'll bring back to the commission. I can see an issue right away. We have in that muzzleloader hunt an 072, 074 on the same dates as your rifle hunt that we just approved.
Correct, and as I had stated earlier, I think the quotas are going to be pretty small for that rifle hunt, and you know, the muzzleloader tags, we're not going to have a ton of those either, and we have a ton of bulls to harvest, and I know it's kind of out but we think we can handle both seasons, and we won't have people on top of each other.
Okay. Any other comment from the commission? Commissioner Rain?
I think there's a perception amongst many people that a lot of these muzzleloader hunts going into the rut is, you know, somewhat problematic, you know, going all the way up to September 17th. So I think, you know, I'd be more in favor of keeping them a little bit later, but definitely keeping the full dates there. But in the October 8th through the 21st or thereabouts variety. Hate to have too many rut hunts out there.
Okay. I guess my comment would be is that there's not a lot of a difference between September 17th and September 30th and October 8th. Maybe a little difference. They're both in the rut.
Well, the concern we have is we've got 2 separate cow rifle seasons. One is starting October 1st through the 10th, and then the other one is the 11th through the 20th. And there's going to be a lot of tags in those cow rifle seasons. And it's really that's been an optimal time for us to, in statewide, to have successful harvest of cows is that October period. And we felt that because the quota for the bulls are so small, to try to accommodate that rut period, then versus the bull muzzleloaders trying to find a place to get away from the cow rifle hunters in October.
Okay. Let's see. Do I need to take this out to public? Yes. Okay. Any public comment on the resident antlered muzzleloader hunt 4156? Come on, Ray.
For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County. Again, just for the 4156, we support splitting 111 through 115, making it separate from 221 and 222. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any other comments from the commission? If not, any motion? Commissioner McNish?
Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve resident elk antlered muzzleloader hunt 4156 as proposed by the department, with the exception of unit 111 through 115 being split, separated from 221 through 222.
Second.
Did I hear a second?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Commissioner Rain?
Just back to the issue of the rut on this, and ask Mr. Cox, what, I think I know the answer, but what is the center of the rut for the bull elk?
It probably takes last week of September and first week of October, and it's going to go until, you know, the month of October. You're going to see activity. You're going to see activity a week prior, possibly, depending on weather.
So the deep difference in these two season dates between mid-September, the end of September, and the October 8th through 21st like last year. What impact will that have on elk harvest? What do you see?
And we will have slightly higher success, instead of 80%, 90%, or instead of 60%, 70%, or 80%. But I would expect a later September season to be a little bit more successful. There is, some of the hams are starting to break up mid-October, again, depending on weather, but we've all seen where mid-October can be just as hot and heavy as September 30th. So it's hard to say.
Based upon that would be the reason why I'd like to see it later. I won't be supporting the motion.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, and I have a motion, right? Sitting on a motion? Okay, motion and a second. So, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion passes.
Non-resident elk annual 4256. Those changes are resident are mirrored here. We're adding the eastern portion of the Elko County. We feel we're going to be close to 10 tags in the resident, so that 076 through 081 will be opened up.
Okay, bring it back to commission. Any questions, comments from the commission? Okay, seeing none, take it out to public. Any public comment? Ray, come on up. I think you're going to want the split, right?
Yes, sir. Ray Sawyer, White Pine County, for the record. Again, for the 4256, we support and recommend the split of 111 through 115 and from 221 and 222. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring back the commission. Any comments, additional comments? Okay, need a motion. You guys are tearing the...
We're the only ones that ate lunch or didn't eat, maybe? I don't know.
We appreciate your service.
Move to approve non-resident elk antlered muzzleloader hunt 4256 as presented by the department, with the exception of splitting out units 111 to 115 to have their separate hunt and 221 to 222 separate.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any comments on the motion? Seeing none, go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes.
Elk antlered 4161. We took a little break here between beginning of the cow muzzleloader and the end of the bow archery, and we extended that a couple days, so August 25th through September 16th. Still on.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? Okay, seeing none, take it out to public. Any questions from the public? I would imagine one.
We got you. Unless there's something different.
Okay, so you got, okay, we got it. Okay, so the suggestion will be to conform the 111, 115, and the 221, 222 break. Okay, bring back the commission. Any other questions? If not, I need a motion. Commissioner McNinch.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve resident elk antlered longbow archery hunt 4161 as proposed, with the exception of splitting out area unit 111 through 115 from 221 through 222.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Okay, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
For that, non-bow archery elk antlered 4261. And we added 073 to the list this year. as that herd is really growing, we now can provide a non-resident archery hunt.
Okay. Any questions from the commission on Hunt 4261? Okay, any questions from the public? And obviously, we have the same issue on the split, 111, 115, 221, 222. Any other questions? Okay, bring back to commission. Any motion? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move to approve non-resident elk antlered longbow archery hunt 4261 as presented by the department, with the exception of splitting out units 111 to 115 and 221 and 222 to be on their own.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
We'll give it to the antlers. Resident elk antlers, anywhere they're looking for, ready to go. We need some help here. We did get a few overgrown splits to put more pressure on these herds statewide last year, but we had what we felt was unfortunate of losing some of the October seasons last year, which was our most successful way of harvesting cow elk. And we're asking those to be approved today in order for us to meet our population objectives. And on the flip side, we see one late season that was not established last year for the eastern part of Area 6. And we need to start putting more and more pressure on that herd also. So we're asking for that November 26th through January 1 season. And we feel some of these seasons that they would have an October season from 1st to the 20th. We need to put a little pressure and split that up into an early October season and a middle October season, just to rotate some runners through there, get them out, and just try to continue to harvest more. We've seen this before where we have a single season. We're likely to have to get as much harvest as we can get a new crop of hunters in there. And I know it's a 10-day season, but most of those guys go there for 5-6 days and then they're heading home. So you'll see that we've got those units in around of Western Elko County, where we're trying to get more harvest. I said eastern earlier, but it's the western part of Elko County. We're adding a companion cow elk season for the 145 unit, same long 4-month season in that 145 unit. And we feel we no longer need the special antlerless elk depredation hunt, if you will, for the Atlanta Farms area that we've been able to meet our objectives there, and along with what we've done in the past and what the current operations are on that operation. There's still seasons available. All other weapon classes can hunt that area. We just don't feel we need to put any more specific pressure on that site based on our relationship with the landowner, that we've done our due diligence, and with what he's done in terms of hazing, that he's fine with us not having that special hunt.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any questions, Commissioner Ray?
The Atlanta Farms thing, you know, we just had a big presentation on that not very long ago about how critical it was to have that hunt. All the, you know, we had video or pictures, the damage that was being caused. Now we're getting rid of it. So, what has happened since to make that big change? That's a big change. Something did.
For the record, Mike Scott, NDOW. Last year, the polygamists out there were hazing the elk. This year, I'm going to provide them with a depredation permit to haze the elk. If that doesn't work, then we will have an emergency depredation hunt there, like we did last year.
Is that both bull and cow?
If we need to, yeah, absolutely.
So, but why the elimination of the season? I mean,
Well, we aren't getting a lot of harvest out of there because the people that live there are chasing the elk out of the fields. They aren't supposed to do that. They're supposed to come to us if they have elk damage, but they did last year. Now they injured a couple of young people while they were doing it, so I don't know that they're going to be hazing elk this year. If they are, then, you know, we'll provide them with the permit to do it. But if they're not going to do that, then we'll probably have to have an emergency depredation hunt. If it's going to be an annual thing, then we will pursue going back to the application hunts again. But at this point, I'm not sure that we need to.
Okay. Well, you're managing it, so sounds like we should go with it. Okay. Any further questions from the commission? Any public comment on the enterless? I just want to make one comment. I kind of like that late cow hunt. And actually, you know, obviously there's some issues there if you get a lot of weather, but for this last year it worked out pretty good. And usually there'll be some time if you have a season that long. So I really like seeing that late hunt stay and just adding the October hunt. So, any other comments from the commission? If not, look for a motion.
comment. One for the comment on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. And that was basically on that late hunt. That one I probably had more input on, and it's been interesting. Get a lot of hunter input on that one. Everybody seemed to hate it until they hunted it. And then once they hunted it, they all liked it. So that seems to be at least the input that I've got. I know there's a few people that, man, I can't believe got rid of that October one. That was my favorite hunt. And they're like, this is way better. And maybe it was just this year, because this year was unique. But the only thing I can see on is, you know, if anything, expand the dates on the later one. But if we go any earlier than December 5th, what do we hit if we go to the 1st of December on some of those? Is there any real problem with making it the full month of December?
Yeah, we have that second late.
Yeah.
That's what we're hitting in all those units?
Yeah, the second late bull season that's both in it, 11, 22, and 23. They run through the 4th, December 4th.
And the necessity for the earlier one is simply to get enough kill. We didn't get enough kill this last year. How did that go? I mean, can you give us a little update on how that went?
Well, it was, as we know, pretty bone dry in terms of snow. So we had okay success in the 30-40% range, but we'd really need to put more pressure on all those herds, and so we think it's best to be able to split that pressure out amongst the early and the late.
Okay, any other comment for motion?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve resident elk antlerless any legal weapon hunt 4181 as proposed by the department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
antlerless elk, muzzleloader hunt, 4176. Just making that slight adjustment. I guess we're taking one day off that season, but it's consistent statewide. We set the archery to end September 16th. And it runs through the end of September.
Okay, any questions from the commission? Ray, I'm going to want to hear from you on your, it's a little different on this hunt unit, these hunt units groups for 11, 12, or 11. I don't know if it makes any difference. Oh, I see.
For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County. I don't have any notes here on this one. I don't think, because it's antlerless, we approved it as written. So on all the antlerless elk hunts, because they're being managed in a different way, we just approved as written.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Bring it back to the commission. Any motion?
I'll make a motion.
You get a break.
You gotta get to this table. I'm on a horse. So I can slack on my motion. I make a motion that the resident elk antlerless muzzleloader hunt 4176 be approved as submitted by the department.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
And our last public class for the antlerless elk, longbow archery hunt, 4111. No amendment changes.
Okay, any comments from the commission? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Hearing none, bring it back. Any motion?
Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve resident elk antlerless longbow archery hunt 4111 as proposed by the department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Chief.
Desert Bighorn sheep, Wasley, Desert Bighorn sheep, ended up in 3151. We continue to pull out the White Pine Range and Duckwater Hills to just clarify that there may be some hybridization in there, and we need the samples collected, and that on paper, your bonus points, and in our records, it's a desert, and whatever comes out of the back end of that hunt is yours, is the hunter's. So we just need that to be pulled out separately. The other will lots of issues out there in the landscape this year, and some good is not so good. Some good is Fish Creek Mountains in the middle of 153 has a adequate number of rams. It's a satellite herd that established on its own, and just basically at a point where you can take advantage of them. So we're going to open that season. We're going to extend that season. We've been monitoring that herd a bit, but there's still some unknowns. So we just, out of the box, wanted to extend a little bit more time to make sure the hunter's successful. So that's an October 1 through January 1 season. We have a concern that we would like to be able to get closure on the East Walker River herd, which is Unit 204. A lot of potential domestic sheep interaction there. And we just haven't been able to do enough follow-up on the survival of all the gentlemen and all the age classes in that East Walker River herd. So we feel we should be cautious and close that unit as a standalone, Unit 204, and we're going to add it to the